You know that feeling like you're watching the world from behind a pane of glass? Like you're picking up on stuff, these deeper layers, that everyone else just seems to miss? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We're going to break down exactly how to turn that feeling of being an outsider into, believe it or not, your greatest social strength.
All right, so let's get right into it. For most people, the world is pretty straightforward, right? A causes B, cause and effect. Done. But for you, it's just not that simple. You see all the layers underneath. It's not just about what's happening. Your brain is on this constant mission to figure out why it's happening, every little detail. And hey, there's actually a cool psychological term for this. It's called metacognition. It basically means you're thinking about your own thinking. You've got this amazing ability to kind of zoom out from a situation and see the gears turning behind the scenes. It's way more than just noticing things. It's like you're analyzing the hidden script of life.
Now, I bet for a long time you've probably thought this was some kind of flaw, right? Something that makes you feel a bit awkward or, I don't know, separate from everyone else. But I need you to hear this loud and clear. It is not a flaw. What you have is a rare and really powerful way of processing the world. The goal isn't to shut it off. The goal is to learn how to wield it like a superpower.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. Having this kind of deep perception, it can be heavy. It comes with a burden. And when you don't know how to manage it, this gift can feel a whole lot more like a curse. This is what we're calling the observer's dilemma.
A huge part of this is something called empathic accuracy. You know exactly what this is. It's that thing where you walk into a room and boom, you instantly feel the vibe, the emotional temperature. You can sense that unspoken tension between two people. You catch those tiny little micro-expressions that just fly right by everyone else.
So what's the downside? Well, you don't just notice this stuff, do you? You absorb it. It's like you're a sponge for the room's anxiety. You start carrying the weight of all these unspoken feelings, and poof, next thing you know, you are completely drained. All you can think about is, where's the exit?
And this quote right here, wow, it just nails that feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Your mind is going a million miles a minute, dissecting every little interaction, every sideways glance. But on the outside, you're just that quiet person in the corner, and you feel completely and totally invisible.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you actually flip the switch? How do you go from being this emotional sponge that just soaks everything up to someone who actively uses this perception to actually connect with people?
Well, the answer all comes down to a conscious shift in your mindset. It's about making a choice to fundamentally change the role you play when you're around people. You're going to move from being a passive observer to an active strategist.
Seriously, that's it. That's the whole game. You switch your role. You stop just taking in all this data and you start directing it. It's a conscious choice.
Just look at the difference here. On one hand, you've got the passive observer. They just soak it all in, the good, the bad, the anxious, and it's exhausting. It just drains your battery. But the active strategist, they take that exact same information and use it. It becomes a tool. And you know what? It's incredibly energizing.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, that sounds great, but how do I actually do that? How do we make this practical? Well, it all comes down to one powerful technique. It's all about the art of asking questions using something we're going to call strategic ignorance.
I know, strategic ignorance sounds a little weird, but trust me, it's brilliant. It's the art of taking all those super complex, layered things you're observing and using them to ask a really simple, open-ended question. You're basically playing dumb on purpose, turning all that mental gymnastics inside your head into a simple, easy conversation starter.
And here's a perfect example of what I mean. Let's say you observe someone and think, wow, they look really stressed about their job. The old way might be to just keep that thought to yourself, or even worse, to say, hey, you look stressed, which, yikes, immediately puts them on defense. But the strategist uses that observation to ask something like, so what's the wildest thing that happened at work this week? See the difference? It's fun, it's engaging, and it lets them decide what to share. And honestly, it boils down to a super simple two-step process. Step 1, observe. That's the part you already do naturally, right? You see all the complexity. The only new part is step 2. Instead of just letting all that analysis swirl around in your head, you translate it into a simple, open question. That's it. That's the entire shift. And you know, once you start practicing this, something absolutely incredible starts to happen. All that overthinking, the very thing you thought was a social weakness, it starts to transform. It becomes your greatest asset. It literally becomes your new social superpower.
I mean, just look at the payoff here. Your deep analysis suddenly turns into social charisma.
People feel so seen and understood by you because your questions aren't random. They come from a place of genuine observation. And just like that, you go from being the wallflower to being the person that everyone at the party is hoping to talk to.
So think about it like this. You stop being just a quiet observer in the room. You become the catalyst. Because you're asking these insightful questions, you become the one who sparks the interesting conversations, the ones that actually lead to a real, meaningful connection.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. What if that pane of glass you've always felt was between you and the world? What if it wasn't a barrier at all? What if it's actually a high-powered lens, one that gives you a focus and a clarity that most people can only dream of? All you have to do is learn how to use it.